Hello, everybody. All right, we are live. Thank you all for joining as usual. Yeah, we usually do this on a Sunday, but I will be unavailable tomorrow, so we are doing it today. And as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are going to be joined by Noelle Phillips shortly. So he's going to come on in another 15 minutes, but I wanted to warm everybody up here for him coming on. And essentially the format of the live stream will be me. I'm actually taking questions from the video that we did together uh, recently that I released on Thursday that are in the comment sections. And I'm basically going to ask him those questions. And of course, more importantly, more than anything else, any questions that you all have for Noelle based on the interview or based on your own personal situation. So I asked everybody to just get as specifically as possible. If you want, I'll do my best. We're going to try to get through as many questions as possible. I probably only have about 12, 11:30, 12:30, maybe about an hour or so from when Noelle gets on. So as just so you know, Noelle is going to be coming on in another 14 minutes. So at 11:30 New York time, I'm going to ask him to hop on. So as usual, to get started, let me know where you are chiming in from. Can you hear me okay? The AC over there is like really blasting loud. If it's too loud or disturbing, please let me know. I can just turn it down. But yeah, please let me know where everybody's chiming in from. I always like to hear that all over the world. Marcia, hi there, chiming in from the UK. Mai, how you doing? Welcome, bonjour. Globally, Wendy, thanks for joining. Good morning, Shelia, Junior Char, hello, Naldo, thanks for chiming in. Nurse T. Marie, looking forward to investing in Kingston. Yes, we will definitely be talking a lot about that today. Thank you, CM, for the nice comments. And for those who are chiming in, the person who may not be familiar with the context is the person that I'm interviewing is Noelle Phillips, and we actually just did released an interview and series. He's a big part of the Kingston real estate series that I've been working on and slowly releasing these last few weeks. So that is the context of the interview and conversation that we're having today. And yeah, continue to let me know where everybody's from. Globally, Wendy says, what information do you have about Saudi and IAE delegations that are visiting where projects are being presented for foreign investment? I saw that. I saw that the Prime Minister was hosting a group from that region, and it looked like they were very serious about Jamaica. And we've been hearing rumblings. I don't have any personal direct information as it relates to that, but I will save that question for Noelle when he hops on. He probably knows better than I do. Junior Char chiming in from the UK. Yeah, UAE. That's what I figured you meant. Yeah, UAE. I figured that. Shalia from Panhandle, Pensacola, Florida. Welcome. Safi, hello. Live from Quebec. Bonjour again. And Junior Char want to talk about property in St. Thomas. Yes, we can get to that as soon as Noelle hops on. Mary Jane Hine, my husband, we love Jamaica. He wants to live there. I'm not sure. We wouldn't even know where to begin to obtain this dream. Well, there is a conference that is happening in November that can help you out with that. And we'll also be talking about that. And that's the ThropX conference, which I'm hosting at Travelers Beach Resort from November 10th to the 14th. So we're going to, me and Noelle, going to talk about that as well. Very, very excited about that. And the plans are coming together. So Mary Jane Hine, if that is something your husband are considering, that is moving to Jamaica and living here, the conference is a very good avenue. And that's like one of like the direct mandates that we want to try to accomplish, if you will, with the conference, is to have people who are considering moving to Jamaica to have them have a better understanding of what it would take, what the lifestyle is like, what the financially, what is the landscape, and I want to bring those all those contexts to the forefront. And actually, before Noel comes on, like there was this article. I really want to hop into this, and I think if I time this right, we should be able to talk about this article, and Noel could come on at the same time. And there was an article in the Observer, I think yesterday or today. One sec, I'm going to pull it up for you. And it was talking about the cost of living in Jamaica. And it was basically saying the that living in Jamaica, I got it right here. Oh, I lost it. The headline reads, Jamaica among cheapest places in Caribbean to live for expatriates. And I want to bring up the article, like you guys can read it. And I found it a little misleading in terms of it makes it sound like Jamaica is a very cheap and affordable place to live. And I mean, if you and it basically compares that, and then the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we did a lot of comparisons to New York, and the article is basically comparing New York to Jamaica, and it uses this website Numbeo to use it like as the barometer measuring stick for this. And I'll throw the article in the chat there. You guys can take a look at it. And it's specifically geared towards expats. And I don't have any, like, I'm sure there are reports that can prove this, but Jamaica is just, I mean, and I never say that it is a cheap place to live. Far, far cheaper than New York, like for sure. And if you look at the Numbeo stats, it says, and it's using Kingston specifically, Kingston is 44.96% less expensive than New York. Rent in Kingston is on average 82.27% lower than New York. Of course, New York is one of the highest and most expensive places to live in the entire world. So most places are going to have these like crazy disparities in cost of living. And like I saw people in the comments on Instagram were just upset about how the article was worded and the context. And I have similar feelings. And here is like, so I put in the location and everything, like Jamaica and Kingston in the Numbeo website, so you all can see exactly the exact comparisons. And Mary Jane Hind, maybe this is another data point that you can use. I can't speak to the accuracy of this website. I've only found it because of this article, and for sure take everything on this website with a grain of salt. And I would even go a little bit further to maybe even do a little bit more research on the accuracy of the economic and financial data being presented in this website. And I would want to also understand where the sources of this information that they're coming, because there's a lot of conversions here with Jamaican dollar and US dollar, as well as, they always talk about, milk and eggs globally and how much they cost. And then there's always the McDonald's. They have the McDonald's metric. How much does a Big Mac cost in New Zealand as compared to America, that sort of thing. And that seems to be kind of a staple indicator. So again, take a look at the article, and I put that on there, Mary Jane Hind, because I thought it was just kind of relevant, and I think one of the main things people, of course, should be thinking about when they are moving to another country, are making a big decision, life-changing decision in their life, is the financial aspects and possible financial consequences of doing so. And so maybe this website is something that you can consider using as, again, as a data point. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna invite Noelle here. Hey Shayna, welcome. All right, so Noelle should be on shortly in a few, and we can hop into it. So I would say, if you do have any questions after watching the video, that the interview, I should say, that Noelle and myself had and that I released on Thursday, please let me know. You can go ahead and throw them in the comments. If you didn't watch the video and you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to go ahead and share the video in the comments for you. And you can watch it later. Don't watch it now because we're on the live stream. And we want to be as much as engaging as we possibly can in this live stream. And I really want to get a lot of your questions answered in the time that we have. I have a bunch of questions here from the comment section. And I don't, honestly, I can't remember the comment section being this lively. I mean, it's incredible. So if you commented on the podcast I did with Noelle, thank you so much. And if you had questions in there, thank you so much. We're going to try to get to them. But yeah, so many comments, and it's, the video is doing well. I think we're at like almost 6,000. Yeah, we're basically at 6,000 views, which is not crazy, but in terms of the ratio of views to comments, it's quite a bit, quite a bit. So again, I have them all lined up, and I will go through them as we start our discussion. Sappy says, Throp, when are you buying some real estate? Good question. Good question. I plan to buy an apartment next year. So hopefully early next year, but more than likely mid 2023. And I'm gonna buy in the Grill. Looking for a two bedroom apartment. That's like my goal. My goal is to buy a 2 bedroom apartment. So right now, for those who don't know, I'm renting. I've been renting. Whew, man. For at least where I'm living, maybe like 8 or 9 years, since a little bit after I got out of business school, 8 years maybe. And so when I first moved there, I thought I'm just going to be here for maybe a year or two, and then I'm going to go build my house and sail off into the sunset. That didn't happen, not even close. Still not there yet. But I ended up staying where I am, and I do like it. I enjoy it. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's safe. But I do want to buy something and own something. I think that's just very important, especially in the world that we live in today, to have your own, especially in your own country, right? So next year, to answer your question. Um, so, all right, I see some questions here. I got Noelle on a hold right now, so I'm actually going to bring him on. Thank you, Dorothy, for chiming in. Welcome. And we're gonna go ahead and add Noelle up here. Let me take down this ban. Oh.
The charger for me.
Hey, Noelle.
Hey, Throp, what's up, man?
Nothing much. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay, very good. Everybody's excited to see you and speak to you.
I'm excited to be on.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So the way that I wanted to do this is basically, as you saw, the video is doing very well. A lot of people had like so many questions in the comment section. And so I just kind of want to go through some of the questions that people have had in the comments from the video, and then here on the live stream, are some people who have some questions that I want to get to.
Okay, good.
All right.
That
Oh,
sounds
and
good.
I
I'm
should
ready.
ask, what's your time constraint? So, because I don't want to go over. How long do you
I'm
have?
good. I'd planned for probably about an hour. So,
Okay,
I
perfect,
mean,
perfect. That's exactly what I was
yeah.
thinking. All right, great. Okay, let's get into the first question. So somebody asked a question, but somebody also answered it, and the question was, is Jamaica a freehold, and when you buy a house, is the land included?
What was the question? Say that again.
It says, is Jamaica a freehold, and when you buy a house, is the land included?
Yes, it is. It is. And Jamaica is a freehold, and you do own the land once you buy the house. So the title incorporates both. And unlike places like New York and other places, when you pay your property tax, except for apartment, you pay property tax on the land value.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you for that. And this question is coming from one of the comments in the videos. It says, so we are talking about the value and also the opportunity for investing in Jamaica. And so somebody put how much of the increase, and I believe he's talking about the increase in price. So how much of the increase in price is due to devaluation of the dollar?
It's hard to quantify,
Hmm.
but I think it would be in a ratio of say 1 to 10. I'd probably say it's more on the minor side than it is on the major. I think most of the price increase is due to just demand, and also, especially for the last probably 2 to 3 years, the recession, the logistics issue, which getting stuff into the country, raw material, construction material, um, and most recently the war and the hiking fuel prices that just have affected everything. So having all those things together, yeah, kind of plays into the pot.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And there was another more of a comment cautionary tale than on the video, and this comes from Run the Track. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll read bits of it. Fear of missing out is never a good investment strategy. I have actually seen it to be a signal that things are topping out, and things are topping out. Please do your own due diligence. Triple that effort when doing a foreign real estate investment purchase, whether that's owning, occupied, long or short-term rental. FOMO is used by seller or seller agents to is actually a red flag. Do your research and take your time. Um, People, this is stated claim from 2004 to 2006 in the States and took a tremendous financial hit. Do your research. How many months vacant can the property be without it being an extreme burden? How much profit am I making versus how much is just covering the mortgage? Treat this like a business and don't let someone selling a product or service be your only source of information with such a long-term investment. So,
Absolutely, I agree with that
mhm,
person.
right.
Do your research on what, just like every other marketplace and every other product that you're looking to invest in. Do your research. So I would say stay away from either extreme. Stay away from the extreme of being just afraid of missing out alone and running into it, and be afraid also of being afraid, because that's not a problem. Because being too cautious, sometimes we miss out. A lot of persons. I was talking to somebody the other day who was saying that he remembers when Bitcoin was $1,000, and he was saying, "Nah, this is not going anywhere. This is stopping out." And it went up over 50 times that, 60 times that. So yeah, do your own research. Absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, and I also think, and this is my interpretation of the person's comment, is that I guess he took it as like we were trying to sell him something and trying to sell him on a dream and that they should invest in Jamaica based on X, Y, and Z. But more so, I feel like our conversation was a conversation, and we were more or less presenting information and hopefully presenting information that the majority of people didn't have, and maybe they didn't realize and they didn't understand what is happening in Jamaica right now.
Yeah, I agree. And as I said, there's a lot of information that is pointing to the fact that the Jamaican economy is still growing and the Jamaican real estate sector is still growing, and there's still a lot of room for growth, which we pointed out in the presentation. So we weren't selling anything per se. So even when the prices were being given, what we were doing is just sharing information, which I think, I mean, the comments that I've gotten, the feedback I've gotten, like your videos have really helped a lot of people in through. You know what I mean? There are a lot of
Mm-hmm.
persons, like I talked to this brethren the other day from Georgia who said, Noel, I'm one of those persons who have not been back to Jamaica over 30 years. And I don't know where to start. I don't know what's going on in the market. I don't know what the market looks like. And so he was saying the information from the video was really helpful to him. So I agree. We were more presenting information, and it's a matter of what persons want to do with it. I was reading a headline just this week, I think 2 days ago, that was saying that Jamaica in the region, in the Caribbean, is still one of the cheapest places to live for expats.
I
No,
just I
no, that's
just
that.
I just brought that up, and I was saying in the context I was saying I thought it was a misleading article, and and yeah, it could be it that I think that's more than anything else probably technically true, but the way that I read the article was like it was like saying that Jamaica is a cheap place, and I don't think Jamaica is a cheap place.
No,
It's
it's
cheap,
not.
right? It's compared to New York. Heck yes, definitely, way more affordable. But like, it's not like if you go to like a Bali or a Colombia where you're paying like dirt cheap prices for real estate and $1 for like a full meal. Like that's not Jamaica. And so
No, it's not.
like that's that and I wanted to make that clear to everybody.
Exactly. And I don't think we want to sell Jamaica that way either, because one of the things I think that I always try to communicate to people about, especially Jamaican real estate market. I remember back in college when we were doing econ, and they were saying Jamaica is a very unique marketplace. Jamaica was one of the first places in the world that Pepsi did better than Coke. You know what I mean? So Jamaica is a very unique marketplace, and it has a
Hmm.
lot to do with personality and culture. And I think the Jamaican real estate product is unique because it's sort of the pink diamond of the region. And there's a lot of things. It's not just um, affected by the just how the regular economy operates, but also by scarcity. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things to consider, is the fact that the amount of land and the amount of property that is available in a country that is so well known, so popular for so many things, is limited. And inevitably, I mean, just to consider the fact that there are more Jamaicans living in the diaspora than are living in Jamaica. So think about that. There are more than 3 million Jamaicans living abroad, and there's a little under 3 million Jamaicans living here. There are people who want to come here almost pilgrimage just for the love of reggae, the home of Usain Bolt and Shelley and Fraser and all of the track stars. I mean, even coming out of COVID-19 the other day, a lot of Jamaicans who had never been to so many places in Jamaica, Blue Hole, and a lot of the beautiful beaches and rivers and special places. So Jamaica is kind of being rediscovered for all of those unique things. It makes the product of Jamaican real estate unique in following with that trend. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things to consider that will not allow the Jamaican real estate product to react as the Florida market would be, with the up and
Hmm.
down cycle continuously. You know what I mean?
And I think that I think is like people is missing. Even though like we've been doing this comparison between New York and Jamaica, and mainly for the purposes of bringing context and understanding to the market, to maybe a market that people can relate to on a more global level. But you hit on a good point saying that Jamaica is a unique market, the real estate aspect of it, and it's been stable. And I think that's a point that a lot of people have been missing in just doing like general comparisons.
That's
Uh,
right.
I I do have another question here from this is the comments here on the live stream. This is from Globally Wendy. I'm not sure if you can see it on your screen, but it says, "What information do you have about the Saudi and UAE delegations that are visiting? What projects are being presented for foreign investment? Do you have any insight on that?"
Not quite yet. A lot of information for those things are usually made public a little while after government workup, because usually those agreements take a little while to iron out, you know.
Hmm.
So we don't have that information as yet, but I'm sure it will be coming available soon.
Is that something that would you say Jamaica is looking forward to, is getting this type, because like when I think UAE, like I could be wrong, but I'm thinking like some big money is coming in to do something, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. I definitely think so, and I think as the world economy opens up and as a lot more countries become um, world powers, for want of a better word, economic world powers, oil world powers. I mean, traditionally, most of the time we look at foreign investment, we're looking at United States or Europe. Now we see
Hmm.
a lot of things coming out of other countries like Asia and for instance here with the UAE. So definitely it's kind of widening the scope. And I was sharing with somebody on an off note. I was sharing with somebody the other day that some years ago I remember being in Orlando, and I was having this debate. I think it was just after Usain Bolt won, and we're having this debate among myself and a few friends who were saying, "Who's the most popular Jamaican? Is it Usain Bolt or Bob Marley?" And so we went over to this guy who had a hot dog stand, and I said to him, so we went. So he said, "Hey," so while we're hearing us walking towards him, we heard the accent. So then he opens up his shirt and he has on this reggae t-shirt. So then we went to him and said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Boy, he's from Morocco. He just came to the United States." And we asked him the question. We pitched it: who's more popular? Who do you think? Usain Bolt or Bob Marley? And he ridiculed us. Like, that's the stupidest question ever. Bob Marley is one of the most known person, period, in the world.
Yeah.
And then he went ahead to share with us that reggae music is very big in the Middle East. Like, I didn't know that.
Oh, I
I
didn't know
had
that
no
either.
idea. I didn't know that the Middle East even know where Jamaica was. You know what I mean? But you're saying, no, Bob Marley is a big personality there. So there are a
Wow.
lot of places that have interest in Jamaica from just knowing about it for reggae music or athletics or other things, or food, that would be no interest in looking into Jamaica for investment. You know what I mean? So definitely, I think it's something to look forward to. Anything that to add to the economic growth of our country. Absolutely.
I agree. I agree. Okay, another question for from the comments here in the live stream. This is from Safi Anderson. Noel, development outside of Kingston, what are your thoughts? St. Anne is like a hotbread. Do you see it slowing down with the impending recession? I think it may slow, but prices won't decrease a lot.
Absolutely. You answered your own question. St. Anne is a very unique bit of the market now for quite a few reasons. One, the highway from Mandela that drops you almost right into Ocho Rios. I remember those back in the day, those of us used to drive down. I used to do sales, grocery sales. So it was literally a 2 hour drive. Now it's 40 minutes or less. Right? So you can be in Ocho Rios and back in almost an hour. That's one. Two, the strip between Lower St. Mary down to Discovery Bay is now where it's almost the returning residence strip of the country. That's where all the Jamaicans who are coming back in the country wants to reside. One, because of the gated community. Two, because of the highway. Three, because of the proximity to the airport in Montego Bay. Four, because of all the resorts and beaches and hotels that are on that strip. So the development of that side is right now it's rivaling Kingston in prices and I mean and sales. So yeah, you have a lot of, and you have other places too. Like Negril is ripe for development. Myself and Winthrop spoke about this in a couple of the other videos. So yeah, and there are a lot of people who a lot of people are coming back to the country who don't necessarily want to be in the city too. There's some persons, I spoke to somebody yesterday who is doing a development out in St. Catherine, I think, up Bagwalk side, and he's doing like quarter-acre lots, townhouses, big backyard. Because there's some persons coming back in the country, there's some persons who just want to migrate from Kingston, who want some greenery and some planting space and some fresh air, you know what I mean? So yeah, that definitely is opening up, and it's lucrative as well.
Yep, I can see that. I can definitely see that. And you see it driving through. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
So another question, this is from I Am Grateful. Are there any townhouses being constructed in St. Thomas? If so, is it wise to buy there?
St. Thomas is not, I don't know of any townhouses. I know of probably a few housing developments that are in the pipeline. Um, Gated um, housing developments. St. Thomas is now one of the kind of diamond in the rough opportunities. It was more a few years ago. I told a lot of persons from the road was being announced, go there and buy land, buy whatever you could get. A lot of persons didn't, some did. But now since the highway is being cut, actively cut now from the Harborview roundabout all the way to Portland, and catch this, one of the things a lot of people don't know, because St. Thomas is probably one of the least traveled parishes, sorry. St. Thomas is most remembered for nobody can cross it, and the washing away of the bridges, and people get marooned in St. Thomas, and all of those bad things. But St. Thomas has some of the most beautiful beaches, and the close proximity to Kingston. I mean, you could be at a really nice beach in less than an hour, you know what I mean? And as I said, now the highway being cut from Kingston to Portland, the demand for St. Thomas is going to go up. It's a nice, quiet area. So absolutely. As I said, I don't know if any townhouses being built. I know some housing developments that are coming. One of them I will be directly affiliated with. But yeah, I definitely would advise persons to buy.
All right, so we got to do another video then when
Yeah.
that starts going.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see another question. This is kind of along the same lines as the previous question, but I think it's relevant. This is from Jada Brown, and she asked, "How will the impending recession dictate the price of construction materials? Does it make sense to halt construction until that recession starts?"
It's hard to say no. It's hard to determine. A lot of our construction material has been going up. I wouldn't tell anyone to halt, because usually construction material, like most things, I don't know if when it goes up, it's going to go back down. So for instance, I went to the hardware the other day, and I had in the back of my mind that a bag of cement was still like $900. I was doing something, I went to get a bag of cement, and it's now like 1,300.
Oh my God.
So I wouldn't, yeah. So I wouldn't advise you to stop if you're building. I would advise you to push through, because you want whether you're doing a project like building your home, or you're building apartments for sale, you want them to be complete. So you don't want them to, you don't want to get trapped having them half finished. So I definitely would advise you to push through and try to finish it as long as you can, because we don't know where the prices are going. You could be waiting and the prices double, and what your projected cost was for completion might go way out of what your calculation and your budget was.
No, that makes sense. I mean, as you know, the longer, especially if you're on the sales side of it, but the longer a construction project is taking, there's just that inherent opportunity cost that you have. You want to get that thing done as quickly as possible. And then, like you said, you're also fighting the increase in elevating cost of construction materials.
And worse, if you're building and you're using any kind of institutional loan, they're not waiting on you with that interest rate.
Right.
So you want to finish as soon as possible.
Yeah, good point. Good point. All right, another question. This one is from T. It says, "Why don't Jamaica real estate websites show sold prices for comps and history of property like the US? I feel like info is difficult to get."
Um, that's a good point. It's I could probably take that up with the association. The sold prices are available. Usually we have access to them on the back end of the portal that we use, which is the MLS, which most realtors in North America use as well. But yeah, I don't know. I could take that up with the association to ask.
Do you would you personally find that information helpful if you had access to it, like the comp sales and history of property?
Me personally,
Yeah.
no, I do have it.
Oh,
So
you
that's
do
what
have
I'm
it, but
saying. So
it's not
yeah,
public. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
it's not
gotcha,
public.
gotcha.
So for
Okay, okay.
instance, if you know I'm listing a property like no, it's supposed to be going to Westmoreland to do list some properties. And what we do is called a comparative market analysis, and the information is on the back end. So a property that is listed for $10 is sometimes sold for $8 or sometimes sold for $14. So that helps me to determine based on the time sold, based on the physically comparing the properties, this might be able to be listed and sold for X. You know what I mean? But that information is on the back end. It's usually accessible to realtors, but I don't know. The system was built that way that it's not available on the front end for whatever reason. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you for that. All right, got another question. This one is from Jacqueline Davis, and she asks, I am interested in buying property in Jamaica to live in half the year and rent out the other half. I need really great internet because of working from home. Would the best location be Kingston?
Not necessarily. As I said, one of the areas that a lot of persons are doing that. I remember in the height of the recession, one of the things that did really well was rental. Um, and there are some things, some prices that Jamaicans um, would would have considered high. Like, I mean, a house for $1,000 or $2,000, it probably be considered high end rental. But then a lot of persons living in New York, living in Florida, that were paying a lot more, gave up their apartment that they were paying $3,000, $4,000 for, came to Jamaica, came to places like Richmond Estate, came to places like Draxall, where they got an entire house for like 1,800, 1,500, and they worked from there for 1 year, and then they went back home. So um, it depends on what you want and what you want to be surrounded by. If you want to be in the middle of the city, then Kingston, yeah, you can get a lot of apartments. We have good internet now. I mean, I'm talking to you on my cell phone from home, and I live up in the mountains. And so, yeah, so whether you want to be in Kingston because you want to be in the city, or maybe you want to be on the North Coast because you want to be able to slip out of the house and run to the beach, in 5, 10 minutes, it really depends on you.
Yeah, and I'd also add to that is like I think, and a lot of people ask me like, oh, where is like a good place to invest or where's a good place to live in Jamaica? And I think it really depends on the lifestyle that you're looking for. And as you were saying before, that people, it's like some people are looking for, they want the backyard space and be able to do planting and do that sort of thing. And then some people do want to be in the mix of things and they want to be in the city and the hustle and the bustle and they want to be able to go from restaurant to restaurant and then do nightlife activity. And then you got, go to the grill and yeah, it's a little bit more country and a little bit more rural. But I think like most of these major locations in Jamaica, you will get decent internet. And if you don't
Yeah.
have like the like the fi not the FiOS, that's I'm in New York, the fiber optics coming in, like you said, you have your cell phone. And again, like from my experience, Jamaica Digicel has kind of been doing well as it relates to cell phone service. So I always say like that's like a great backup to have to whatever you have at home if it's not working. But always definitely, especially if you're working from home and you need that consistent internet connection, I always recommend have a backup.
Absolutely.
All right, we have another question from Safi Anderson, and they ask, "What do you think about Suncoast Beach Club in St. Thomas starting at 350,000?"
I, the truth is I have not been over there yet. I don't know what the specs are. Um, that is on the higher end of a price. I don't know. We're yet to see how the market respond to it. Um, but I don't know the specs on it yet.
Okay.
But the thing about St. Thomas is a new marketplace. It's a new place for real estate development. Um, so as I say, it has its own natural features, which include the close proximity to Portland for persons who love that. Nice beaches, and it's really, stone's throw from the airport once the highway is finished. So relative to the price, as I say, it depends on you, it depends on your affordability. But a lot of these new developments in new areas is a matter of the market will respond to it.
Got it. Okay, this question is from Shalia W. Considering the astronomical housing costs, are builders building smaller homes affordable for locals, repats, and retirees?
Yeah, the government has been very aggressive in that bit. I am very close to somebody who is directly involved in that in government, and they're now piloting some projects to do over, I think, about 70,000 lower income, specifically lower income starter homes, which I think is a really great initiative because as persons, especially come back to the island and buy, as a lot of persons taking their money out of, um, you know, liquid fiat currency and putting into real estate, it does affect the price and does push the price of real estate out of the reach of a lot of persons. So the government has been very deliberate and strategic in working with organizations like housing trusts to provide homes that are affordable for lower income, regular everyday Jamaican persons.
Got it. Okay, we have a question here from Ocean Gray, and they ask, are there any new developments in Port Royal?
Wow. There has been talk of a few. Port Royal is really unique, and it's something that I have wondered about for many years. Um, but I don't think there's any right now. There's land there. I know a friend of mine is from over there, has property there. So I think persons are kind of waiting, doing some feasibility now. But I think it's one of the places that inevitably there will be. Port Royal has been very unique in so many ways. Even the people who live in Port Royal, most of them are from Port Royal, born there, grew up there. Even the people, Gloria's, that we did the video from Gloria's in Kingston. That family is originally from Port Royal.
No, I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, so there's not a lot of land in Port Royal available for development. Remember, all it sank, most of it. So, but there are a few parcels available. I'm hoping that there will be some kind of development. But the persons who live there, the persons who own there, they're a little bit, specific about who and what is allowed inside of Port Royal. But I'm hoping that there will be.
Gotcha. Understood. And we have a question from World Peace. They ask, is there any part of Jamaica that's not yet a hotbed that will be a good return in the long run?
Um, well, there's a lot of places that are not yet developed. There's a lot of, but the funny thing is, like Jamaica is so small that it's hard to even say that anymore. One of the things that is becoming quite popular now in Jamaica is farm homestead. I've seen quite, as a matter of fact, a few years ago, the first one I knew of was about 4 years ago. I met somebody in Brooklyn. I think this is a lady who grew up in Brooklyn. She and her brothers to Jamaican parents. They had been to Jamaica just a few times, and they had bought some land, I think, in the mountains of St. Thomas, and they were coming back to Jamaica. They set up a homestead. It's near a river, and it was deliberately intended for persons who want to live close to nature. So it's a gated community. It's big lot of land. So everybody has a home. It's kind of self-sustaining. They get the harvest water, the farm, and they eat what they produce and so on. It's healthy, lifestyle kind of thing. And so because of that, even inland property that you would think are, way in, nobody don't want that. People are looking for that for those reasons. So as I said, it's hard to say this area is underdeveloped and the land is cheap and you can buy it and hold it. What I would more say is do some research, talk to your realtor, look at the area or an available piece of land or property, and kind of do the Warren Buffett thing, buy cheap and try to, do your research to see where that community is headed. I'm seeing that all Jamaican communities will eventually be developed. St. Mary, Portland, some of these communities are the least developed when it comes down to gated communities and so on. And that is specifically because the parish council in those parishes want to keep those regions green. And because of that, you don't have a lot of development in those areas. So you could buy in those areas and it doesn't develop the way how St. Anne is being developed. So it's a matter of, I'd say, buy anywhere, any parish capital or close by. All the towns are developing, all the cities are developing. Portmore was a very good one for a long time. And Portmore land is really expensive now, and housing is expensive in Portmore now. So I just think it's a ripple effect and a chain reaction that is going to systematically continue right through the island. Maybe not on the same scale and maybe not on the same level, but it's hard to tell you what parish or what region specifically, because you really don't know what's going to happen, what regulations are going to change. But I'd say, whichever way you can go wrong with buying property,
Agreed. Hear you loud and clear. We have another question from Globally Wendy, and they ask, what materials are in the shorter supply can we ship from the U.S.?
I don't think there's any kind of construction material that I know of that are in short supply. I know a lot of the stuff Jamaican developers and contractors, when it comes on to, most of the stuff that we use outside of block and steel are imported, especially finishes. So it's really, I don't know if any of them are in short supply. It's just a matter of price and what you want. So if you're building or you're renovating and you can ship from Miami, obviously quicker than somebody can ship from China. And then a lot of the things now that used to be cheaper to ship it from China is no longer cheaper. It's no longer more lucrative to ship from China, because while a lot of the prices that the individual items are still cheap, the shipping, the freight cost is not ridiculous. So I think prior to the pandemic, it was like about less than $3,000 to ship one container from Asia to Jamaica. I think that has moved to somewhere closer to about $16,000.
Oh my goodness.
Almost a tenfold jump. So even if you're getting the same thing for the same price, just the shipping cost alone probably going to equate to shipping it in from Miami. So I'd say just look at your costs and determine. And then Miami, it's going to be here quicker, or New York, or any other North American ports.
And that's purely related to the global logistics mix-up or hiccups that's happening?
Yep, all of that coming out of the pandemic. And then a lot of persons, it's funny, like a lot of persons, I've watched even one project, I don't remember who went there, but while we're on the road, there's one of the projects that we were on that when we started selling 2 years ago, the complex is just finishing up now. When we started selling, it's 1,400 square feet, a 2-bedroom apartment, and we started selling it was 32 million, 33. It's now $40 million, and that's before handover. So, and that is purely just out of the logistics issue, and a lot of the stuff that were calculated by the quantity surveyor to have been X have now jumped to XYZ. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, like
But
when
to
you
answer the question, there's nothing that we have a supply problem of. Only thing is just the price changes.
okay. But like when you say stuff like that and you break it down and we think about the global logistic challenges, um, you're like, there's just so many different factors and variables that to take into consideration. To like, people asking, man, do I invest? Do I wait? Do I push forward? Sort of thing. And it's just like, man, I guess at the end of the day, you just got to stick with the fundamentals. And um, I don't think there's any real cheat code in terms of information that any other
Yeah,
person has and doesn't have. But
absolutely
mhm.
agree. Absolutely agree.
I have so Alfonso Worth. He is a great, I would say, a great contributor to this community, always giving us like tons of great information. So he has three comments that I want to read, and then we can talk about them, which I thought
Hmm.
are really relative. So the first one is the real driver of the boom. Hold on. Actually, there's another one. Sorry, before we get to that one. All right, so this is the first one. It says, "What's up, Throp? The delegation from Saudi Arabia that's on island as we speak is looking at a range of investment, logistics, infrastructure, tourism, real estate, and agriculture. This is big for Jamaica." So that's kind of going back to a previous question. And the next one, he says, "The real driver of the boom in real estate in Jamaica, it's the concept of Jamaica turning into a logistics center economy. A lot of multilateral companies are on the verge of moving their company here." And the last comment, oh no, yes, two more. Sorry. "So the business people that's coming in will need that living accommodation, and also we will definitely see a strong return of diaspora as the economy grows and the crime situation gets better." And the last one is, "Ascent at the Oxford, a 27-story building will break ground very soon. Will set the true vision of where Kingston is heading to Jamaica economy. Jamaica economy is on the verge of exploding, so you will see development." So yeah, a lot of great insight. I don't know if you want to comment on any one of those.
Yeah, I mean that's all true. I think one of the things that, as I was saying to somebody the other day, one of the things that a lot of Jamaican real estate product, I think a lot of persons got used to it being undervalued. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the things that a lot of persons know are having a pushback on what the prices are. And I don't think a lot of the prices that we're seeing now are really ridiculous prices. I think it's just really coming into its own. You know what I mean? So if you compare Jamaican real estate product with a lot of, even though somebody in the comments the other day was saying that we shouldn't, but we have to because a lot of places now, I mean, the world is becoming smaller, and Jamaica is really, settling out and making our mark in the Western Hemisphere as a country. And the logistics hub thing is one. So as those things grow and as more, like, let's look on one thing. For instance, let's just look on BPOs, right? A lot of the BPOs that are now popping up all over Jamaica, there are literally probably hundreds of them. From Montego Bay, now I think there's just like 4 or 5 buildings that were just built in Portmore, and they're all over New Kingston. And persons call us almost every day. They're looking at a new building, 5 floor, needs to fit 200-300 persons. A lot of these BPOs are coming from India. Jamaica speaks very good English, even though it don't sound like that in our music when we're in a dance hall. But outside of the dance hall music, you know what I mean? Outside of the skilly bang and the, chop the line and all them things, we speak very good English. So I don't know why it took, whoever, wherever that long to discover it. But now moving a lot of that business to Jamaica, I mean, North America, the head office in Florida or in New York is now just a few hours away, a quick flight. So that, if you look on that alone, you see the potential, like what's his name just explained. Jamaica's really, I believe, positioned to explode. You know what I mean? And I think the infrastructure that the government is putting in, like the road to St. Thomas, to Portland, the road to Ocho Rios, a lot of these things, and even a lot of the housing developments are really, these are just things that I think Jamaica is positioning itself for the growth that is coming. I've been watching a lot of the videos on YouTube about North Americans who now want to live outside of North America. And this is not diaspora, though. This is not Jamaicans who want to come back home. These are just persons who think, for economic reasons, their money would be better spent and would get them more moving to Jamaica or moving to the region. That has become a very big thing. That's becoming a very big thing both in Canada and in the United States. So, I mean, Jamaica is a really lovely country, warm weather, nice people. So I think Jamaica is positioning itself for that. So I absolutely agree with him.
And can you speak to the ascent of the at the Oxford, the 27-story building? Do you know about that?
Yeah, I know a little about it. I mean, the industry is excited about that. And just like we were talking the other day, or some person said, that's too high or whatever. But I don't think it's too high. I want a 26-story, and then I want somebody to do a 30-story after that. As I said, I just think a lot of persons, especially locals, sometimes, you get used to something as it is. And sometimes we're intimidated by growth. You know what I mean? Sometimes it scares us. I would think Jamaica is going to become something that we don't recognize. But guess what? Jamaica is not just for us. It's for the generation that is coming. You know what I mean? And we want to position the country. We're tired of hearing that persons are leaving Jamaica to go to Canada because life is better there or whatever, or it's more beautiful. So I want the infrastructure to develop. I want the housing infrastructure, the road infrastructure to develop in such a way that people don't even feel like they want to leave Jamaica. You know what I mean? So absolutely, I welcome it. It's really beautiful. And back to I think the building that we're talking about the other day in the video while we were downtown, the Oceana the units are completely sold out now. I think they were supposed to be having an opening this weekend or the weekend gone. And people are really excited about it. It's really beautiful. The road from Harborview into downtown, I think it's complete now, at least 95% complete, and it's really nice. It's really beautiful. So I'd say I'm excited about this development. I'm excited about all these developments that are coming in. The one in Vineyard Town that we visited when you were last in Kingston is almost complete now as regards pouring on the building. And it has changed the landscape. It has changed property value. It has changed the density around there. A lot more persons are looking in Vineyard Town to do development, to live. There are some rumors about some work to be done on St. Joseph Hospital and some changing out of ownership. So yeah, those things are just really exciting things that I definitely will, because on the second of the Maslow hierarchy of needs is housing. So people will need somewhere to live as the country develops.
Yeah, and I think, and Alfonso said this before in a comment, is that people and investors are betting very heavily on Jamaica becoming that logistics hub. And somebody, and I think this is important for everybody, Chris PW is asking, what is a BPO?
Oh, so it's really a call center. So it has been doing an awesome job, in my opinion, in a lot of persons that are between high school and college, a lot of low-skilled persons who making that life transition, and it has been absorbing a lot of those persons who normally are a part of the statistics of looking for a job and can't find them. I have a family member who is in management in one of those companies. and they're doing really well. A lot of people are doing really well. You know, a lot of people leave school, you know, before college or out of college and need something to help them parent and whatever. And they're doing well in Jamaica because, as Jamaica speak really good English and the proximity, because most of them are North American companies. And what usually happens in the BPOs is account management, it's customer service for big brands, TV brands, banks, and so on. So a lot of time when you call a lot of these international or an American company and you're getting that well-speaking person, it's actually a Jamaican, you know what I mean? And so they outsource it because it is cheaper for them to do it in Jamaica rather than doing it in North America.
Got it. Thank you for that. Tony Mack asks, are there developments being done in walkable areas where one would not need to be car dependent?
Yeah, like New Kingston, the developments that are just completed, the garden development. There's another one across the road from the AC Hotel that's being done now. Will be a part of the selling team for that one. The proven development, a lot of the developments in Midland, New Kingston, a lot of Kingston 6 developments are areas that you don't necessarily need to have a car. You can have a taxi drop you off right at the gate or a bus. The other thing that I'm hoping for as regards regulation and affordability is, for now, as things are now, a part of the pre-approval process for developing anywhere in Jamaica is parking. So there has to be a big bit of the land allocated for parking. I'm hoping, and I hope somebody from government in Jamaica is watching this now. I'm hoping that we can get some areas zoned, like most places in all the cities of the world, that if somebody have a half acre or 1 acre of land, the entire bit of land can be used for construction and none has to be allocated for parking. And that would do two things. That would make it more profitable for the developer, hence they can sell for less. And two, I think that would force the country to have a more dependable urban transportation system. So for instance, a lot of people live in a $2-3 million house in New York don't own a car because they don't need it. You know what I mean? They can take a Uber or a Lyft or the train or whatever and drop them right at their doorway. Plus, there's nowhere to park anyway. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm hoping that areas like Kingston 5 and parts of Kingston 6 and will be zoned off to allow developers to put more apartments on the land and probably just do part of the urban transportation system will be zoned off for this area. You know, just like you go to New York and you take a taxi and they can't work across the bridge because they're zoned to work in the city. I'm hoping for that because I think a lot of the land that we use for parking is wasted. So if you have a half acre of land and you have to use a 1/4 acre to develop and then use another 1/4 acre for parking, what it does, it forces you to have to make the profit that you need to make for your investors or for your company off just a half of the land that you're able to build on. So if you could only get 30 apartments, maybe you could get 60 or 80 if you build an outlet. And then, people don't need a vehicle. If you live in the city and you work in the city, you work walking distance from where you live, then you probably don't need a car at that point. You know what I mean? And if you need any other transportation, you can park your car somewhere else or you take public transportation. But I'm hoping to see that. But as it is now, there are apartments in those areas that still allow for parking. You don't necessarily need a car. You have good transportation system now in Kingston that you can have a cab or take the bus or just walk to where you want to go, especially in New Kingston.
Well, I think that's a very good point that you made there. Another question, KJ Martin asks, are there any developments using wood materials for mid-rise apartments?
Wood for mid-rise?
Yes.
I'm thinking that they're referring to probably like 2-floor complexes like you normally see in places like Georgia and stuff like that.
I would assume that would be my assumption as well in terms of the context of this question.
No, because Wood is expensive, and Jamaicans do not believe in building with wood. I think it's more tradition than it's anything else. Wood was what we used back in the day when we were poor.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that we're not poor, we do not use wood. And not only that, but if now you're using wood to build apartments, the prices would be 3 times what they are now because wood is really, really expensive.
Right. Okay. Very good. Ocean asks, is Bull Bay part of Kingston or St. Thomas?
Bull Bay is where Kingston and St. Andrew border. Um, so yeah, it's kind of right on the border.
Um, uh, Alicia asks, what is going on with the crime rate in Jamaica?
I think it's the same thing that's going on with the crime rate in New York, the same thing that's going on with the crime rate in Georgia, the same thing that's going on with the crime rate everywhere in the world. I think, what's funny? Like we were having this discussion the other day with a few friends of mine, and the one of the thing about crime now, and I'm not downplaying it by no any stretch of the imagination, is the fact that Jamaica's crime rate it's not as much as it sounds that way, and a lot of places, is not significantly more than it was, say, 15 years ago. I think what has changed is now, because of the advent of smartphones, we see the crime. So it now scared the dickens out of everybody. But the same thing happened 20 years ago, and all it was a headline on the news or, a headline in the newspaper, and you'd read that and you move on. So I think now that a lot of persons are seeing everything, everybody's now taking a video and sending it around. It seems that it impacts us a little bit more. And having said that, crime, like everywhere else, like if you watch the news, if you watch Pix 11, you would never go to New York. When you talk to people there, them going about their business and them still living, and you know where to avoid and you know where not to. I think, I personally think that a lot of the crime problem that Jamaica is having will be fixed by real estate. And it's on pie in the sky, but here why I say that. I think as the real estate product in Jamaica develop, a lot of the, because one of the things that I personally believe, and this is my philosophy, is that crime has to live somewhere. Crime has to live somewhere. Criminals have to live somewhere. And one of the big problems in Jamaica in the past was that we used to have, well, we still do, what is garrison communities. A lot of places in Kingston, there's this one place where I used to work in Barbican across the road in a community, a well-known ghetto community. People avoided it. Since the development of Kingston 6 over the last couple of years, I've watched development and investment eat that community in, because a lot of the land that people lived on was captured, was abandoned, and people just live on it. And if you live on land and you use illegal light and whatever, then the devil find work for idle hands. Since of late, and since the development in Kingston 6, I see one of the very same pieces of land in one of those communities torn down, fenced around, and went on the market for $140 million. Now, nobody's leaving land with that kind of value captured anymore. So, and you can see that all through Barbican. You know what I mean? A lot of communities that were left abandoned, a lot of lands that were left abandoned, now, owners are coming back for them, and persons who were on them, fooling around, and it pushed crime out of the community. I think the government, there's some new legislations coming on stream. There's the, Jamaica Eye. There's the Road Traffic Act that just came on stream. So the government is doing what they can. But I think that as Jamaica develops and as more persons find work and more areas that were not developed become developed, I think some of these things will also affect crime. You know what I mean? I think it will be outside of the government, from the government standpoint, and from the Ministry of Justice or the Ministry or the police standpoint, I think there are a lot of things that coming with the development that's going on now in the country that will affect crime in a positive way. So I think the same thing that's happening with crime in Jamaica is happening in most cities around the world and in most cities in North America. But we're working on it. I live here and I go out and, I'm going to have a coffee down the road when I'm finished. And we're not all bunkering down and hiding and shooting and like how it looks on television.
Right. So, I mean, I agree with everything that you just said, and I definitely think that the real estate industry is helping with that. I do think the government is they're making headway. Like you said before, there is earmarked 70,000 housing units for average Jamaicans, and I think once you become, what would I say, a an official member of society, contributing to
That's right.
tax, being a landowner and owning a home, you have a different level of pride, and you want
That's
to be a
right.
contributing. And I honestly do think most Jamaicans want to be a contributing member of society
That's
and want to
true.
be in a thriving society. And like Jamaica is moving upward and onwards. And I think the more industries and opportunities that are coming to Jamaica, the more opportunities that we have to give to people, the average Jamaican. But to me, in my mind, the long-term play in all of this is education. And I would say more than anything else, I understand what the government is doing in terms of, inviting the UAE conglomerate coming in, doing highways, infrastructure. It's like you're going after the here and now, which we need to do as a country, which we absolutely need to do as a country. But on the long-term side of things, somebody has to have a 20-year plan for our education and for our young people and implement that. And to me, that's the only way, or I would say the only way, but a major pillar of getting out of poverty. Like when I think about a specific, narrowing it down to a poor family, how does a poor family in Jamaica now in 2022, how do we give their kids an opportunity to get out of the cycle of poverty and not allow them to be in, like, their kids be in poverty? And to me, it's like that's the kind of thinking that we need to have in our approaches. And I can't think of many other ways other than giving a good education to those young people from when they're babies, they can't even talk, all the way right through college, and then after that, giving them job opportunities or entrepreneurial opportunities once they finish their education.
Absolutely. 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 I
So
agree with that.
um, I want to start wrapping up here. Let me just see if we get any questions from anybody who I have not put it on here. Um, let's see here. I think we got most. I'm trying to see if I see any new names here. No real questions, mostly comments. All right, so I guess this will be the last one, and then I just want to talk about ThropX a little bit, Noelle, and then also give your contact information so we can put it up there if anybody has any further questions. So Willow Tree asks, are there any plans to tear down some of those old abandoned buildings in downtown, so Kingston can be modernized?
Somebody just asked that.
Yeah.
That's probably somebody who has not been home for a while.
Mm.
So that is actually happening as we speak, and that's one of the points that we touched on the video. Um, there have been people who have been aggressively buying out those buildings. You know what I mean? The building that we spoke about that I had listed on East Queen Street is now under offer, and that's one of those old buildings that somebody just came and bought. So yeah, so that, a lot of that is happening as we speak, and a lot of people are contacting me every day to try to buy one. Most of those old buildings are actually sold already, or bought, or reclaimed, and the owners are, putting plans in place. I know of one person now who has working on an apartment complex building downtown, and that will be coming on stream soon enough. But yeah, those are plans. I mean, because those are private sector decisions, they will be done according to the plan of the individual. I don't think there is an overall government plan that will say all the buildings have to be torn down at any specific time. People are going to buy. They're going to wait to determine when to invest, when to build, when to tear down, and so on. But from my own knowledge, most of those buildings are sold. Some are restored. Some are being restored, and sooner or later they'll be all gone, and we'll have a brand new downtown Kingston.
Right. Thank you for that. I think two more quick. This, I guess you can make this one quick, Noelle. Somebody's asking about what do you think? You kind of touched on this already. What do you think about St. Thomas and St. Mary?
Give me a second there.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
I'll just plug in my phone. Battery going low. That's good. Yeah, so St. Mary and St. Thomas is apart. So, like, if I don't know how many persons have been following, but last, I think earlier this year, it was announced that I think piloted by Adam Stewart, Bush Stewart's son, who has now taken over the company, that there'll be international flights now into Ocho Rios. So what that means is now that, and well, the airport is really in St. Mary. So it's on the border really, but it's in St. Mary side. So a lot of Boscobel side going back into Port Antonio. A lot of development is coming in those areas. A lot of subdivisions are being done. A lot of land is being bought. So yeah, those areas are really nice areas to invest if you're looking to invest, because those are close proximity to down into the Ocho Rios town as well. Usually have really nice ocean view, close to really nice beaches and so on. If you're looking to a little bit more rural experience, and I was talking about earlier about the development, I know the need and desire for like homestead development. There are persons who want that too. So it's a matter of what you're looking to buy for. But I say anywhere in the country is good to invest. So yeah, St. Mary is one of the least developed parishes, and I think St. Mary's Day is coming as well. With the spill off that will be rolling from St. Anne, from Ocho Rios back out into the town. And obviously from the other end, which is the highway that will be running through St. Thomas, St. Mary into Portland. So yeah, it's good. It's one of my favorite parishes.
Excellent. Okay, and this is the last question for you, Noelle. This is from Shayna Love Coaching. She says, "Hey, Throp, I asked earlier, I'm not sure if it's suitable or related. My question, is there a market for tiny homes? What do you think, Noelle?" And do you know like the tiny home concept?
I know.
Okay,
I don't
right.
think yet. I don't think we're there yet. I think Jamaica is just moving out of a part of the sign that you have arrived is the big 8-10 bedroom house in Red Hills or in Jacksonville or Coopersville or wherever. I think we're just moving away from that to, people willing to go into apartments and so on. And even with that, there's still the back and forth. Most of the persons who are moving into apartments are new purchasers, young persons, young professionals. I don't know if the market is, honestly don't know. It's something that would have to be tried. I know for the sake of taxation and travel, a lot of persons in the United States do the tiny home thing because, it's cheaper. But I don't know if I can live in 400 square feet. That had to be bed and bath and living and everything. So
yeah, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's hard to say. But maybe what you should do is come to Jamaica, try it out. I'll be the realtor for it, and then we see how the market responds.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. I want to be respectful of your time, Noel. I do want to just touch on ThropX a little bit. I have your, and I guess you can, we'll do it now. And again, I have your information, contact information scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So just for everybody's purposes, Noel's contact info is there, 876-550-1600. That's his phone number and WhatsApp. And then you can contact him via email at noel@vlarealtors.com.
That's right. And I want to add to that as well. So a person can look me up on Instagram at I am Noel the Realtor. That's I am Noel the Realtor. And just created my YouTube channel on the inspiration of Winthrop and my sister in New York, Denise, who I know is online. So it's just been registered. We're preparing to do our introductory video. The channel will be geared around kind of showing a different side. It's not just for selling, but as Winthrop we were discussing, it's really going to get more around education on the real estate product itself. So we'll be covering things like some Jamaican laws, the process of buying, trends in the market, you know what I mean, where to invest, you know, stuff like that. So look out for it. You can find it now. I can make a comment.
Yeah, please
And
do.
you can just follow, subscribe from now. I know there's no video. It's me, Noel here. That's it. There you go. So you can just subscribe from now. I just spoke to the team. We just and just to put it out there, a lot of the inspiration for this really came from Winthrop. After I met him and I kind of heard his heart of what he wanted to do with his channel and wanted to show Jamaica, because oftentimes the media works only on sensationalism. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to show crime, everybody wants to show something bad. And Jamaica is such a beautiful country with beautiful people. And I mean, during COVID, I worked from a cafe down the road from my house. And it's just one of the most beautiful things just to sit down and just meet Jamaicans every day and just remember that we're an awesome people. So Winthrop really inspired me to start the channel to really show the side of Jamaica that is not just about, you know, bad stuff. There's this other girl that I follow who I think she's from Ukraine. And there's so many things I've learned from her channel. And I've lived in this country for over 40 years. You know what I mean? And this is somebody who came from Ukraine, came to Jamaica, and you know, she's just going around and showing all the beautiful things of Jamaica about the country. So Winthrop really inspired me, and my sister's always been my back to start the channel. So I just signed a contract with my media team, and so look out for the videos that will be coming on stream soon. And as I said, my social media and my Instagram account, you can just look for me as I am Noel the Realtor.
Awesome, man. I'm so happy and so excited for you, man. And yeah, you're definitely doing the right thing by having
Right.
that YouTube channel. I know you're gonna do well. You're filled with like so much
So
knowledge and information, and I think a lot of people are gonna benefit from that channel. So I just encourage everybody who's on the stream here, please go and support Noel's channel. Please subscribe to his channel. You're just gonna get more and more value, just like you got today. I'm sure it's going to be the same thing, probably times 10, you know, and we need to support
I
people.
don't know about that. But
Definitely, man. But because we need to support people who are doing this, because there
yeah,
are just
absolutely.
I didn't realize how many, I would say, negative YouTube channels geared towards Jamaica that are out there that really do sensationalize what is happening. And yes, they're getting the views because, as the saying goes, if it bleeds, it reads. And again, we're not here trying to sell rainbows and butterflies or anything like that, but we're also presenting other facts and information and lifestyle as to what Jamaica is really like from a holistic standpoint. And we do not ignore the realities of the crime and the violence that is happening and is taking place. We do speak about that stuff, but we're not presenting it in a way to get views. We're not presenting it in a way just to get people to come to our
Absolutely.
channel. And again, the way that we're looking at it is just presenting information, and you could take that information, continue to do your own research, and make decisions that are best for you and for your family. So again, I really implore you to hit up Noelle's channel. It's right there on the screen. Noelle Phillips, that's his YouTube channel. And again, you're going to get a lot of value. And lastly, do want to bring up ThropX. So Noelle is confirmed as a panelist for ThropX. So that is
Yeah, I look forward to that.
yeah, it's going to be super, super exciting. That's November 10th to 14th. The itinerary is so awesome. I have other Jamaican YouTube, like I have panelists coming on who if you've been watching the podcast, they're going to be the main speakers on there. I have so many other interviews that are lined up for the summer that I'm really excited to release, that is all really geared towards you making a move to Jamaica. If this is something that you want to do and you want to dip your toe in the water, like this is the conference for you. These are the people that you really want to speak to. And those are people like Noelle in the real estate game, real estate lawyers. We're talking about personal finance investors as well. The banks will be there as well. And so I'm really trying, the goal of it is to bring a holistic approach. And I'm trying to think of everything that you could think of like, what do I need to do? What is the first step? What is the last step that I need to do, where I'm shipping all my stuff from New York, Canada, Europe, and I'm on that plane and I'm moving to Jamaica by myself or with my family. And I'm just trying to present all of those professionals, all of those industries to you, and you'll have them at arm's length, and you can speak to all those individual people and companies to help you either make your decision to do it and say, yes, this is for me, or maybe, no, it's not for me, but then also giving you the resources needed to actually make that step and make your dreams a reality. And, really, really proud to be having someone like Noelle to be one of the expert panelists for that event, which is November 10th through 14th. All right, so that's about it, Noelle. I just want to thank you for your time. Really appreciate this.
It's been a pleasure.
The video is doing excellent. You see the comments and everything like that. So, I know that phone is ringing off the hook, which I'm so happy for you. I hope it continues to do
I have to
so.
put it on silent since we've been on the live, because even though it's beside me, it's just ringing off the hook. So yeah, I really appreciate it, and thanks again, Throp, and thanks to your subscribers and the comments. I'm still reading them. Thanks again, guys. It's really been fun being here.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Noelle, people are saying that they can't find your channel. I just want to make sure we get that right. Is it Noelle Phillips?
It is Noelle Phillips, or I think you can search for I am Noelle the Realtor as well.
Let's make sure we get this right.
I think I had changed the name. Let me see.
Yeah, we want to make sure that that's right.
No, tell you what, I'm gonna get it sorted out. As I say, I am not the most tech skilled person. I have a social media team that is taking over all of this. But yeah, the name I'm commenting from is supposed to be the same name.
Okay, if you could take
so you can click on the link.
I would say no, we can't. If you can take the link from in the search bar and then throw that in the comments from your YouTube page.
I'll do that.
Do that now. Let's do it while we're on, so I can actually put that up, and so everybody can see. Yeah. Take your time. Take your time.
All right. Let me just do that. My account.
Yeah, because there's a different Noelle Phillips coming up, and he looks nothing like you. Okay. All right, we'll get that for everybody. Don't worry. And in the meantime, so everybody can stay on. I got maybe another 15 minutes, so maybe about 15 minutes before I got to run after Noelle hops off, so I can continue with the live stream here.
So let me see if this is it.
All right, no problem. And while Noel's doing that, I should just let everybody know I won't be doing live streams for the next 2 weeks, unfortunately. I wish I could. But the next one will be at the end of the month. So we're looking at the 31st. That's the next live stream. So we'll be skipping the next 2 weekends. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. And I'll put that in the community section as well, so everybody is aware
So
that
Mikhail
who
said he
are not
found
on
it.
this.
That's the link I just. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. Noelle Phillips, Jamaica. All right, let's see if we
Chris
can.
found it. Mikhail found it. Yeah. So that's the link I just put up.
Got it. Okay, yep, I got it. I see you.
Yeah. So just follow that. We're preparing to do our first shoot. So that will just be an introductory video, and then from there we'll be doing, and then we just like what Winthrop is doing. We want to bring persons on who are educated and are practicing in other areas in the field, like evaluators, conveyance attorneys, just persons that will help people who are, especially persons who have not done any kind of real estate business in Jamaica for a while, or they're looking to their first transaction. So they will have an idea what to look for and how the process goes just before they take it the plunge. So that will be the main purpose of the channel.
All right, excellent. I know I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure many other people are looking forward to it as well. So you
Yeah,
have it
and
right
Talk will
there.
be very instrumental in it as well. So look
You
out for
got it.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Anytime you need me to come on or need any help, I'm here, man. I'm here to support 100%.
Absolutely.
All right, so thanks again,
All right,
Noel. I'll
guys.
let you
Thanks
go.
again. Yeah, you have a good day and see you guys around. Take
Okay,
care.
awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, that was awesome. I hope you all enjoyed that. I know I did. It's always great speaking with Noel. I'm actually like in contact with him on a regular basis. So this is just kind of like having another conversation with him. I'm sorry I didn't get to all the comments today, but I really just wanted to focus on getting questions answered by Noel and really use him. I mean, for you all to use him, I should say, more than anything else. And I want this to kind of be a regular thing, not just with Noel. And the way I want people to think about this is like ask about your specific situation, like what information do you need specifically, and don't worry about necessarily making it general, and whatever information that you feel comfortable divulging. But I really want to make sure that we are giving maximum value and answering questions that you need. um, so Shayna is asking for Noel's email address. So I have it there scrolling. So I'm going to stop that scroll. So that's his WhatsApp number and email address. Thank you for that question, Shayna. So please feel free. And people have told me that Noel has been very responsive, and Noel's been telling me that he's been getting a lot of traction and helping and assisting people. So he is very willing to help and very willing, very accepting for you all to reach out to him. So if you do have questions and that sort of thing, please reach out to him, and of course subscribe to his YouTube page. And again, apologize for not. I really, it's important to me to get to all of the comment sections here, but I'm on a very tight schedule, and I actually think I do have to sign off here now and get myself together. I'm going to be traveling for a little bit, and I will be back. Like I said, in about 2 weekends from now, we'll get back to our regularly scheduled Sunday live sessions. And I think this was great, and I hope you all enjoy the extra time that we spent with Noel today. And I'm gonna leave it there. And thank you all for posting the links and finding Noel's page. And I just want to make sure we didn't miss any comments here, but yeah, thank you for joining. I know it's a Saturday, and we usually do this on Sunday. And lastly, like if you haven't seen the video with Noelle, I thought it was just so spot on. We have two more development visits with him. They're really fantastic, and those probably won't be out until August, just given the timeline. But we have more content coming the next few weeks, and the next few weeks, and we have a lot of shorts that we're putting out. So we're kind of going with a little bit of a different strategy in terms of our content, and we're realizing that there is a lot of value in shorts and helping to grow the channel and letting people know that a channel and a community of this nature exists. And to me, my goal is that, and I think that there are people who are out there and that's like constantly finding the channel, and they were like, I was thinking about moving to Jamaica, or I wanted to move back to Jamaica, and I didn't think it was possible, and I didn't know people were doing this. And in my mind, it's like I have an obligation to intercept or get in front of these people and let them know that a community like ours does exist, and that us here as a community, we have a responsibility to help these people. And I want to continue to do that and to continue to show people that it is possible and how to do it, what the lifestyle is like, what the cost is like, and really, again, give as much value as possible as it relates to making these dreams come true and making this a possibility for all those who are thinking about coming in. I just saw a question about ThropX. I do want to ask that. Dr. Diane Thompson asked, do you have the program agenda for ThropX? So the schedule is on the website, and if you go down, you'll see what it is. And it's the main thing about ThropX, and you'll see there are blocks for panel discussions. Like that's the main thing. And I don't have it organized in terms of like which panel discussion will be on which day in terms of the topics, but we have at least 2 panel discussions per day, and the adventure day, if you will be Saturday, and that's when we're actually going out and we're going to be seeing properties. So we'll have a set of coaster buses that will be taking us around the grill to look at both commercial and residential properties and that includes land as well. And the idea behind that is really to give people a feel of what the real estate market is, not only from a pricing perspective, acreage perspective, but also visually seeing that. And so that's one of the main days that I'm really excited about. And during the site visits and during the tour of Negril, if you will, we're going to be, like, in my mind, is like every moment that we possibly can, I want to squeeze or push in information about living in Jamaica, about the real estate market, about what it could be like to invest here. So even on the bus ride from Travelers and or wherever you're staying, because I'm not forcing people to stay at Travelers by any means. If you want to stay at another hotel, that's no problem at all. But if we leave from Travelers or whatever hotel to going to, say, a piece of land on the west end that's 20 minutes away, be assured you're not going to be sitting there in silence. There will be lots of networking, but also divulging of information on the way there. So looking forward to having you, Dr. Diane Thompson, at the conference. Oh, the prior video. Okay, let me put that link for the video. This is for the video with Noelle. I'm going to put that in the comments for everybody. So, and this is the one that we did in Kingston. Oh, no, this is the own, sorry, wrong link. And yeah, if you haven't watched that video, I would encourage you to do so. And if you haven't hit the like button, I would really appreciate that, just so more people can see that. So in the comments there, that's the interview that I did with me and Noelle did. And that really we go into a lot of detail, we get into the weeds, and that really brings context to what's happening. It's definitely a Kingston-centric video, but I think it speaks to the wider market as to what is happening in Jamaica. And I think you can take a lot of information from the topics that we discuss in that video and extrapolate them to other parts of the country. Like Noelle saying, there's developments happening all over. Tia Peebles asks, what about finding a real estate lawyer and architect in Jamaica, someone who foreigners can trust? Yes. I would also add designer to that as well, because that's one thing that we're working on some projects with the hotel. And then even my friend is working on a project. He's building a villa, and both of us in our individual lanes, we had challenges finding a designer who met our needs, and we had to go outside of Jamaica, and that's something that we want to talk about at some point in the future, but we're going to have those experts as well. So I'm actually going to have, I didn't, to be honest, I didn't have architect on my mind as far as interviewing somebody on my podcast, but now that you brought it up, I think that's also a good idea, and also a good idea to bring them to the conference as well, which we have an architect that we're working with right now for some of the renovation projects that we're working for with travelers, and yeah, already have real estate lawyer lined up as well. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. I do gotta run. Great live today. I thought Noelle was fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody, for your comments and for your questions. And we can take it. I will see you in a couple weeks, I guess, on the next live stream. So thank you everybody for joining. T, I know you asked this before. Does anybody know if Starlink is available in Jamaica? I'm not sure. I haven't heard that. I'm really unsure. I can look into it and see if it is. Okay, so everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves if you're off, and hope it's a relaxing one. And I'll see you all in a couple weeks.